Figma's post-earnings pop is pure short-covering desperation after bleeding 40 to 50% year-to-date. This overvalued SaaS darling with massive competition from actual AI design disruptors is still trading like a growth story from 2021, but reality will hit hard once the lockup expires and insiders dump their bags on the same suckers who fell for the IPO hype.
Figma is a place where the world's best teams come together to build the world's best software. As code gets commoditized, design becomes the competitive edge. Figma is built for this moment, and it showed up in our results this past quarter. Revenue accelerated for the second consecutive quarter, growing at 46% year over year to $33 million. And growth was really coming from every single part of our business: seat expansion, retention, enterprise adoption, new users, and increasingly AI through products like Figma Weave and early traction, as you mentioned, from our AI credit monetization. Our net dollar retention rate for our 10K plus customers was up to our highest point over the last 2 years at 139%. And we continue to run the business efficiently with a non-GAAP op margin of 16% and a cash flow margin of 27%. I think we're early days now on the AI credit monetization side. And so what we had done was we had previously launched our AI features, but we're not upholding the credit limits on our full user seat type until March 18th of this past quarter. And as we make our way through there, as users continue to draw down credits, if they go over and above that limit, they have the option to go and purchase an add-on pack or pay as you go. And what we found is, for our org and enterprise customers, folks that sit within the largest companies of the world, 75% of customers who are actually previously drawing down credits prior to credit enforcement continue to draw down credits in the month of April. And customers in our pro business, as they continue to go and purchase add-ons, they're purchasing. They're now 3x. They're paying 3x more than folks that were not paying for our AI add-ons. And so it's really been a boon to the whole business here to pull people up.
What percentage of your customers are now using these AI credits?
Yes, we haven't disclosed that specifically, but what we've shown is for our largest customer cohorts, those that are paying over $100,000 or more, the percentage of folks that are using our Figma Make offering, which is our prompt to prototype solution, has continued to grow quarter over quarter. So at the end of Q3, it was about 30% of our 100K plus customers, up to 50% as of the end of Q4, and that number ticked up to about 60% as of the end of Q1. But our AI products and platform are just at the beginning. I get really excited about products like Figma Weave, which you can think about as a tool that allows you to stitch together a whole bunch of different generative models together to produce a video, an image that you can then use in different parts of your workflow. And the team's been hustling on things like an assistant that today is sitting in a beta that effectively allows you to have an agent sit side by side with you in the canvas. And so there's going to be multiple more opportunities for folks to be able to draw down credits in the near future, and we're really just getting going here.
Praveer, how much is compute costing you all? These features that you're passing on. As we know, there is an arms race right now for this. Costs have been going up for it. How is your ability to source it been going, and how expensive has it been?
Yeah, I mean, we run the product in a highly performant way, and so I think no complaints over there. And I think we're not trying to be a frontier model or a lab, but I think we've done a fantastic job integrating AI across the platform. Now we believe is the opportunity to invest, and what AI has actually done is it's democratized who can now participate in the product building process. So previously, you may have needed to rely on a designer or developer as your hand in order to communicate an idea, and now you as a product manager can actually sit there and prompt in Figma Make and actually get pretty far down the way there with a working prototype and solution. And so, as we invest there, we recognize we're going to be able to reach more and more individuals. Today, that additional investment shows up in our gross margin, and you saw that move from about a year ago, where we're sitting at about 91%, and it kind of continued to tick down over time. But now that we have flipped on our credit monetization there, it serves as a natural offset to growing usage, where as folks are continuing to draw down more credits, there's revenue offset, and then starts to improve on the efficiency side.
Praveer, when is more of this growth going to sort of flow to the bottom line? Because as I look at some of your the earnings estimates from analysts from the remainder of this year and even going into next year and even out to 2028, I'm not seeing a lot of growth on the earnings per share side.
Yeah, I mean, right now for us, the story is on how do we continue to keep our foot on the gas and make sure that we're reaching as many people as quick as possible. For our guide for the remainder of the year, we did increase both our revenue target as well as our op profit guide for the full year. And so, we are targeting between 125 and 135 million for the full year on the op profit side, which was up from our initial guidance. And so, I think we are finding opportunities to be more efficient, both as we're thinking about how we're serving the inference that we're providing. Through more thoughtful model routing, through making sure we're picking the right tool for the right task, and also investing in first-party models along the way. And so, I think we'll have the ability to go and fully efficiency lever where necessary. And then I think the other thing we didn't necessarily talk about yet is how our team internally has really embraced AI and tooling themselves. And so, we're finding our ability to run the business to be that much more efficient than even 3 or 4 months ago. I'm feeling it on the operations and finance side. Folks are feeling it on the product and engineering side, and I think folks are really embracing new ways of working.
Praveer, we've had a lot of enterprise software companies that have cut people over the last several months. And when you talk about your folks getting more efficient, that leads me to ask, is your the size of your employee base the correct one right now?
Our objective function as our leadership team is to maximize velocity. In this environment, it's all about how fast decisions can get made and how fast high quality work ships. And so, every decision we make is in service of that. And my team knows that, our whole company knows that. And all that being said, it's if the world or environment evolves in a way that affects how our team is structured, we'll navigate that thoughtfully and with discipline. But right now we're focused on acceleration, we're focused on growth. We've got a massive opportunity ahead for us. And we're going to continue to run at it.